You know when you find a bee and it's crawling on its last legs?
I always rescue them.
You give it honey. It's the only thing they eat. Makes sense when you think about it. No point just talking to it, give it honey.
They're very much a one-recipe species, aren't they?
I'm sorry, I'm intrigued because I generally give it the sole of my shoe, but you know, not to be harsh, but you know,
You tread on a struggling, crawling bee,
yeah,
trying to get back to the hive.
What? As opposed to rehabilitating it.
I like honey. I have it on my porridge, you murderer.
Yeah, but
You depend on bees.
We need the bees.
okay, so in future I should lure the bee back. And sorry, do I get a syringe of honey, just a tiny amount of honey? How do I feed this
Teaspoon
to
of honey,
save a bee?
leave it with the honey, don't tread on it. It should be criminal offence.
but-
You should be arrested.
But you should be...
You should be locked up, you know where? In a hive.
But isn't it true, though, that a bee in his entire lifetime makes an absolutely tiny amount of honey overall? I mean, just a
But there's
minute
lots
amount
of
of
them,
honey.
yeah.
So you don't have to give much rehabilitating honey to this one bee before the nation, the world, is making a net loss. It's useless. If you only get 1 teaspoon of honey from a whole bee's lifetime, and every time we have to get it back on its feet, it takes a teaspoon and a half, suddenly there's no honey at all.
This is more honey than this bee has seen in its life.
Yeah,
It's just gonna
you're insulting it, apart from anything else. It's like showing a very tired mason a whole cathedral.
Well, let's say that you're in between Alan and Dara. So, like Alan, you want to help the bee give it honey, but like Dara, you also want to kill. What you can do is you get what I would term too much honey, and you see the bee and you pour molten. Look, hear me out.
All right, okay.
And then you watch him die a slow as
Yeah, I carry on with... Yes, I've now heard you out.
Yes.
And it's no better.
Well, no, that's
worse. Much worse than what I did.
Torturing
you're
a
being
bee.
humane, are you?
Yeah, I am being-
You're not. You're getting a kick out of it.
Let's forget
I'm
that.
not drowning the bee ironically in honey.
You can't drown bees.
You want some honey?
You can't
How much
drown
honey
them.
do you want? Is this too much honey?
You're not so keen on the honey now, are you? After your lifetime making honey.
You may try and drown bees, Dara, but I will follow you.
It wasn't Dara who wanted to drown the bee.
Yes, it was.
My
It was a
scenario.
bee drowner.
He wanted to smash it in his shoe.
He wanted
If there's
to
a
tread
bee-
on it.
If there's a bee in a bath, I don't then go, right, get the shoe, splishy, splashy, splishy, splashy.
Your murder is based on circumstances.
If there's a bee that looks as if it's on its way out and it's just going like...
You are like the Swiss surgery of beekeeping, aren't
Essentially,
you?
yes.
You are trying to give them dignity,
I'm
yeah.
dignitas for bees.
Dignibuzz is what you are, Dignibuzz.
And then I do turn to people and go, it's what the bee would have
Wanted. Very good. Well, thank you for that interesting, fierce, and I think productive debate.
However, which featured the first Africans ever to compete in the Olympics, was equally remarkable. 2 of the first 4 men to cross the line were disqualified because they'd been poisoned. And the winner himself was disqualified, but I want to know why the winner was disqualified.
I ran a marathon the other day.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, I didn't run it, I drove it. I did race against a marathon runner from Greenwich on the London Marathon course to the Mall in normal London traffic, and he was faster by 8 minutes.
That's fact.
Isn't that great?
And amazingly, gestures towards the answer.
He had a car.
Yes! The winner, Fred Lotz, went most of the way by car. He was given a laurel by Alice Roosevelt, the daughter of President Theodore. And then
Was he in the car on the
He
podium?
wasn't actually. No, the car ran out of petrol. He ran the last 11 miles or so.
He couldn't go on the course. He must have had to go quite round.
Yeah, they'd have seen him.
You'd have seen him if he was on the course.
You'd think that you see him running.
There they come.
4th place was awarded to a Cuban postman called Felix Carvajal, who rather sweetly
Delivered the post on the way around. I have a letter for you.
That's so like
From Cuba.
it's so like your famous Mexican accent, but yeah. Yeah, he had to run in street clothes, which he snipped around the legs to make them look like shorts. And then he stopped off in an orchard to have a snap on some apples, and they poisoned him. And
The strychnine didn't kill the winner, but the apples nearly killed the bloke.
yeah, they were rotten, so he had to lie down and have a nap. But he still came fourth. The athlete who came ninth was called Len Tao, and he was a Tswana tribesman, the first African ever to run in the Olympics. And he had to run more than a kilometre out of his way because he was being chased by a dog.
The whole notion of crushing beetles to get their colouring from, I mean, arise. When did people think, these foods are just not the right colour? I need a bit more pizzazz in my
Well,
mulch.
I think you only need sort of imagine, don't you? I mean, you know, you're pounding maize in Mexico, which is where this thing sort of started, and,
Right.
and a few of these beetles that live, they're all over the place.
Right.
And
Accidentally
and while
fall
you're
in.
pounding it, it goes all a rather beautiful pink colour.
Wait a minute.
And your husband says, I like this new maize cake, this pink polenta.
They didn't start like crushing animals and slowly work their way down to beetles. They're like crushing a squirrel. No, that's no good, that colour. Next animal.
That's what I meant. Oh, look.
You set your buzzer off.
That's what I imagined.
Also, they didn't say, I love this pink polenta. They said, the pink polenta, I love it.
So you think that,
I want some more pink polenta.
so you think this happened after the Spanish colonisation of Mexico?
Alan!
You think
We got you, that was a good one. That's off.
Are you telling me the Incas taught like Oxbridge graduates?
how do they talk to through
I'm just going up to finish off Machu Picchu. Will you help me with these stones?
It was really the Aztecs we were concerned with. But in either case, never mind.
You ever felt like your weapon's not big enough, Chuck?
Nonsense, nonsense. So, no, let's move from bugs to beetles.
Love the pink polenta.
Sure. Beetle fanciers, as you probably know, are called...
Coleopterists.
Very good, coleopterists. I'll give you 5 points. for
Thank you
heaven's
very
sake.
much.
Press him on how the hell he knows that.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
because when I was a child, I
In
would...
Alan's world, knowing something is a kind of freakish, weird... You have to explain. So, could you explain how can you know something? Alan would love to know the mystery of this.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to my world of knowing. The wonderful world of looking up things in books.
You looked it up in a book?
No, because when I was a kid, I collected butterflies.
What were you called then?
What was that? A lepidopterist.
Lepidopterist.
I was a lepidopterist, not a leopard collector, as you may have thought.
You sort of run out and kind of kill them yourself.
No, you catch them in a net, and then you put them in a bottle with chloroform, and they gradually... I know, it's not, it's cruel.
That's not very nice. So were you a lepidopterist as well?
I did do a bit of bug hunting, yes.
Did
as,
you?
As the American.
I can see you running along with a big net like that.
As an
Tarquin, I got one.
A flowing toga and a big net.
Oh. But you're quite right. Yeah, a coleopterist. Thank you.
I am an Aztec. I was a philatelist.
Were you?
Yeah.
Is there a special word for someone who did metal work?
Smith.
I did a bit of that when I was a young man, yeah.
Or a metallurgist.
Yeah.
Yeah, loser, we call them.
No, coleopterists who love beetles. Coleopterists are extremely busy people, far too busy to sit and watch television panellists dithering about. So we have to push on a bit if we want to keep them on board, because they're very, very busy. How long is it since anyone discovered a new type of beetle?
8 seconds.
8 seconds is quite recent, but it's not far off.
700 years.
No?
Look, no one is forcing you to play this game. You want to go and sit in the corner. Actually, Dara, you did rather well last time. You astounded us with your knowledge on the triple point of water. Do you remember? What was it again?
The triple point of water is the first temperature at which water can exist in all 3 states.
And what is it?
It's 0. That's what it is.
Now you see. You see, we never forget. That's what you said last time, and we gave you points for it. But we're now going to take those points away from a previous series. Plus a forfeit, of course, because some of our eagle-eyed viewers wrote in to point out that the triple point of water is actually, by definition, 0.01 degrees centigrade. That's 12 points off. But it's hardly...
Well, I was rounding off.
When you were at school, the definition of the triple point was 0. degrees centigrade. The new international temperature scale has adopted in 1990 the new definition, which is 0.01.
How many people sat at home watching that and said, it's just a comedy show, but I'm not letting that fecker get away with that?
You'll be surprised to be the
Points for that.
Which city has the most Michelin stars?
Paris. Oh. Wait, that don't count. Because I said Paris before I pushed the button. So I get a free guess. Hey, I'm black.
Don't you try that. I
know for a fact it ain't London.
It's not in France. It's not in France.
New York, then.
Never. So New York can be said has been gone.
Canada?
London, oh, that's... Okay.
Who said London?
Alan said London.
I didn't say London, you said
Oh, I said London. Sorry.
Rich said London.
I didn't say anything.
He didn't say a word. And frankly, you should be glad.
Rich said London. You said London. Might have been me.
No, I would never say London. Well, no, what I did say, I said definitely not London. That's what I said. No, I did. I actually said, I did.
I will believe you. I will believe you.
Okay, let me tell you why I said definitely not London. And I'm not just trying to offend London. I'm trying to offend the UK in general. But I feel like any country that can produce Marmite, they started later than everybody else in trying to make food taste good.
It's from a country that has spray-on cheese.